call us at 313-837-1340.
We are blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed to be a blessing.
Welcome to the mount. We welcome you.
You're tuned into Kingdom Connections on WCHV 1340 AM, hosted by Mount Pleasant Missionary Baptist Church, where Dr. James J. Minnick is the pastor. This is a time of inspiration and information that's sure to enhance your daily walk with Christ. Listen and be blessed.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live on the air. You are tuned in to WCHB 1340, a Radio 1 production, and welcome to Kingdom Connections. Woo-hoo! This is a time filled with inspiration and information, and today is all about revelations, financial revelations, that is, where we're going to learn how to manage money and financial resources God's way. I am your host, Erica Hall, coming to you from Mount Pleasant Missionary Baptist Church, where I serve there with a dynamic team, our wonderful pastor and his first lady. And we have with us in the studio today, Minister Deanna is here. Hello. Hello, hello. And we have Dr. Kim Whitsett, who is standing close by. Thank you so much, my sister. Yes, I hear you back there. So today we're going to talk about some stuff that is really hitting home. We have what's been going on over the last couple of weeks. We have experienced something that we haven't experienced on this magnitude, on this level. So I'm going to be looking at it from a spiritual and financial perspective, because over the last couple of weeks, we have recorded one of the worst weeks in the stock market since the financial crisis. Some say it has been worse than the 2008 financial crisis. The drop was largely driven by this ever-increasing fear about the potential effects of the coronavirus, COVID-19 as it's so called, and its ultimate impact not only on the global economy, but on our lives. I mean, we're finding that it's coming closer and closer. And Congress has begun to pass legislation, new legislation and bills that have been presented, and the president has signed 2 bills already and is working on the third one to provide some emergency relief and economic support for all of us who have been impacted. And we're going to talk about all that today. So if these recent events with the coronavirus and the volatility in the market is causing you to panic, or if you have considered even cashing out all of your stock holdings, I know you've been looking at them 401ks, and it may be worthwhile for you today to take a pause. Take a pause and we're going to help you put all this into perspective. We're going to look to God in His Word for direction today. And we're also going to use history as our teacher. I want to encourage you this afternoon. Don't panic. But take a pause for the cause. We'll be right back after this break. That's been 5 minutes. Good. You're right on time. So if we get some questions or anything during the post, do you get those and you can share them? No? One more minute. Okay.
There's power and provision from wealth and riches untold when you give hundredfold. We are blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed. We are blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed to be a blessing. We're blessed to be.
This is a lot to consider all the things that are coming in at the same time. It's kind of like overload. Amen. Welcome back to the show, Kingdom Connections. Today we're talking about financial revelations, and I just want to consider where we are, putting all things in perspective. But first off, I want to open just by saying that not only have we been laying before the Lord and seeking God for what kind of direction He wants to give us during this time, but I want to start by offering my prayers and best wishes to you and your loved ones during this difficult time. Now, I know that the experience is definitely hitting home, but today we're going to look at this from a financial perspective, because that's where a lot of the brunt that we will experience, that's where it's really going to hit home. Once we start to get back into the swing of things, and we're looking at where and we're getting our health conditions in better order, and while this virus is new to the world, market volatility that we've been experiencing is not. It's not new. We've seen several viral outbreaks in market volatility in the past, and markets have always rebounded. They've always come back. And so there is an urge, either time, if you're finding this urge right now that you're seeing the market just continue to go down and drop. And we know that this is how investors emotionally have an emotional reaction when the market starts to drop and go in the downward direction. We do the opposite thing of buy low, sell high. We want to wait till we start looking at it. We get nervous and we wait a little while and say, oh, it's gonna keep, it's not gonna stop, it's gonna keep going down. Oh, now you want to, okay, well, you call in and you say, you know what, I want to sell, because it you start feeling the pain. And I want to encourage you to keep your eyes on the long term and not the daily turbulence of the market. Because listen, I want to talk to you about, it's worth noting that the turbulence that we're feeling is not just from the virus, it's not just from the viral outbreak, but it's also a reflection on the uncertainty about the U.S. presidential election, this upcoming election. And if you've been watching the news, there's also this oil price war that's going on that recently started. So I know that you've been noticing the prices at the pump. But today, people are scared. People are concerned because it's unclear how this virus will play out. And that's understandable. And so the pause that we're going to take for the cause is, I just want to tell you, don't panic, because Proverbs 21:5 says, God is in control. God is in control. I think a preacher preached that on last Sunday, that God is in control. So when you ask someone, well, what's going on? Why is this happening? Look, I don't know, but I do know one thing, that God is in control. Fear and uncertainty can set in and cause us to panic, but we got to keep our minds on the promises of God. He said that He would be with us always, that He would never leave us nor forsake us, and that we can stand. Look, if He said it, I believe that He will accomplish it, that He sent His word out to let us know that even in these turbulent times, we can lean on Him, and we don't have to be fearful, and we don't have to fret. And one of the ways that we can continue to stay in His promises and not be fearful is to lean to our plan. during the times when we have certainty, when we're feeling good about what's going on, supposedly we laid out some kind of long-term financial plan. And in my 20 years of experience, I've been through several difficult periods, and the most recent one being the financial crisis in 2008, 2009. And while they are all different, one thing is always the same. They feel terrible if you're living through them. But I believe that we will get through this. So if you are feeling a little panicky, you have some questions about what's going on, I want you to call me. I want you to call me today. You can call in to the show at 313-837-1340. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions if I have the answer. But if I don't, I definitely go find the answer. 313-837-1340 is the number that you can call in and you can share some of your questions. Maybe you have a 401k and you've just been watching that thing go down. The market is down over 30%. The market is down over 30%. But I want to tell you that one of the ways that we're able to stick to our plan is have a plan and stick to the plan. The pause this time for the cause, Proverbs 21:5. Have a plan and stick to it. But one thing, because when you think about, when you look at the reaction and what's been going on in the market, we know that the biggest threat to your financial plan is fear, right? When you get fearful, when you get scared, you start pulling out, and so while it can be difficult, I want to encourage you to stay the course. I want to encourage you. The key is to look through this current situation and stay the course by sticking to your long-term plan. Ultimately, your long-term plan, you will be rewarded for it. We have a caller. Ultimately, you'll be rewarded for sticking to your long-term plan. And if you don't have a plan, let's get you one. Okay, yes. Hello? Hello, caller. How were you? Good. You said if the market is down 30%, how long is it going to take to make it up? That is a good question. Thank you so much for your call. And I think that's one of the biggest concerns that most of us have when we look at our experience, and when we look at where we are. Thank you. I'm sorry, it was a little interference going on. I heard two things going in my ear at the same time. Thank you so much for your question, caller. So, how long will it take for the market to return? We have been through quite a few infectious disease that have impacted the market, and on average, it's taken about 12 to 36 months for the market to have a fully felt rebound. But on average, it takes about 12 months that we have seen. And we're going to pull up a slide here soon to as we talk about having the proper perspective. Because one thing we know from our experience, if you are a novice investor, if you've been investing for some time, then you might understand that you've been through down markets. When you look at the 2008 and 2009 financial crisis, that period took about 12 months for the market to get back to where when folks started losing, when the market started to drop. The first thing I want to take you to is, as we look at looking back at, do we have that slide that we can pull up? Yeah, let's show the slide for our viewers. And what I want to point out for someone who has experienced a down market is it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when you're going through it. But what you can take a look at is the historical returns on average. Historical returns on average are better for those who stay the course. So I want to give you just a snapshot. If you will look at the market from 2008, 2009, it took the market about maybe 12 to 24 months for the return and for the market to return back to where it was. And for those who pulled out and went into cash, well, they missed out on the rebound of the market. They missed out when it was time for them to be able to participate in the return and the growth of the market. And for those who pulled out and waited for the market to return and waited for the market to look like or the economy to start expanding and they got back in, well, they didn't fare as well as those who stayed the course, as those who kept their portfolios in the holdings based on their long-term plan, especially if you're not getting ready to retire, if you're not getting ready to use those dollars, that portfolio and asset allocation or the structure of your account has been set up based on where you're going to where you're planning to go in the next 20 or 30 years. If you're going to be retiring over in the next 20 or 30 years, that's how your portfolio has been allocated. And so that's how you want to look at, or that's the kind of perspective that you want to have, as a long-term perspective, and not watching the daily news that may have you concerned with the daily fluctuations of the market. So next, I'm going to take this time just to take a quick break, and we're going to come back to you to talk about how we can see past the corona. I have to remember that I'm on the radio and yeah.
And I've got joy unexplainable, and your love, it's so unfailing, and I know He's with me everywhere I go. I've got peace like a river, and I've got joy unexplainable, and your love so unfailing,
I lost my place.
and I know He's with me everywhere I go. When my heart feels like it's breaking,
Okay.
and my mind is not at ease, there is one thing that I know for sure.
7.
Keeper of the keeper of my soul is keeping
Okay.
me. I got peace like a river, and I've got
Yes, peace like a river, joy unexplainable, that when everything is breaking loose all around you, you can still look unto the hills from which cometh your help. Amen. And you can be an encourager to someone or somebody who may need to have a word of encouragement, because I tell my folks I know you want to stay informed of what's going on, but sometimes you just have to turn the TV off. Sometimes you just have to turn the news, turn on like Pastor said last week. Sometimes you just have to turn on Barney Fife. You have to turn on Mayberry and watch something else, because I believe, I personally feel that the media has is getting to the point of being a little bit negligible with that fear mongering, because it causes us to not be able to focus on the things that we need to focus on. And focusing means that we have to not only look at today, but we have to consider tomorrow. And that's why today I want to talk to you about seeing past the corona. which causes us requires us to have 2020 vision. Seeing past when we look at the U.S. economy and we look at the different places or drops, the times, the periods in our history where the market has dropped and where the economy has suffered. One, not only has it rebounded, but when it when the market and the economy returns, when you start seeing the signs, it goes into what we call a bull market. It goes into a bull market, and this last bull market has been one of the longest bull market runs that we've had in history. And some people who wanted to get into the market, some people who wanted to invest, kind of felt like, doggone, I missed it. I missed it. But guess what? You might have another opportunity. And so that's the kind of perspective that you want to have, because we're already starting to see some signs of slowdown in the economy. That means those are some indicators that we may be moving into. These are the indicators as to whether or not we're going to be in a period of recession. And what that means is that just slowing down just multiple couple periods of low growth. Now, I believe that eventually the spread of the virus will slow down and people will get back to a place of normalcy, and as will the markets. And what's more, if we were to look at what we see going on in China and Hong Kong and Singapore, where they have been dealing with this virus for the past 2 months, the spread of the virus has appeared to have peaked. And people are slowly returning to a less disruptive life and business environment there. And we're expecting that same pattern to happen here in the U.S. as well. So we're going to pause for this cause today to first, I want you to get informed. Because on the positive side, the U.S. economy remains one of the most resilient in the world, and it has a history of bouncing back from adversity. Right now, interest rates are at historically low rates, lower than they've been before, which means that there are some opportunities that we want to take advantage of, such as maybe it's a good time for you to look at refinancing some commercial loans or some mortgages and things like that. And not only that, but I mentioned to you earlier that the oil price war going on, it's going on and it's causing some uncertainty in the market, but it's definitely helping us out at the pump, and we expect that to be for the next few cycles. The spring and summer should be good. But in addition to that, the government is working diligently to provide emergency relief for families. They've passed the Families First Coronavirus Act. This act is going to help us in the area of getting some health care or free health care when it comes to recovery or medical bills associated with this virus. And they're working to pass the Coronavirus Economic Stabilization Act of 2020. And this act is going to assist us in the area of, I believe they're talking about a stimulus payment, stimulus checks to the tune of $1,200 per adult, $500 for the kids, based on your income. In addition to that, the tax deadline has been extended from April 15th to July 15th. So that should help us out a bit. That's how we see past the corona. The last thing I want to talk about that you can do is the financial revelation. Ecclesiastes 11:2 tells us diversify. We can diversify our investments and business enterprises. I believe Ecclesiastes says something about not give one portion to one, but spread it out. Give it to 7, even 8. You can spread it out, because keep in mind that downturns in the market means that here's now an opportunity for you to pick up some investments, for you to pick up and buy some stocks when it comes time for you to, because you're still making contributions into your 401k. You're still making contributions. You can still stay the course. Maybe you'll need to dial it back just a little bit because of the financial impact it'll have, but you can still stay the course. One of the other things that I want to point out to you is that if you continue to save and invest on a regular basis, you'll be doing what we call dollar cost averaging. And dollar cost averaging is one of those investment strategies that says that no matter what the price is, I'm going to be consistently purchasing $30 a share every pay period. That means that no matter how the price fluctuates, you're going to be allocating those shares to that stock or to that investment. And now I'm not going to give any hot stock tips today. But before I go, I just want to make sure that you keep all things in perspective. Remember, I believe that God knew that we were going to have not only issues in life, but we were going to struggle in the area of finances and money and managing resources. And so that is the focus of this show today, focusing on the economic impact so that you can keep your eyes on the long term. If you focus on the long term and not just on the daily activities of the market, I truly believe that you will be rewarded. Because remember, God is in control. God owns everything. He determines where the water stops and the shore begins. The water knows it can only go just so far. Not only that, He has given us authority to make some sound financial decisions. We should know the condition of our finances. We need to diversify. You may have some business enterprises that you want to get started with. And if you have been a saver, and if you have been a tither, I encourage you to continue to tithe. Because remember, tithing is not for God. Tithing is for us. It says that we are in covenant with the Savior. It says that we have surrendered that thing that we think belongs to us to God, because He owns everything. He said it before Ice Cube did. The world is mine and everything therein. I want to thank you for tuning in to Kingdom Connections, and I encourage you to tune in every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 5:30. Be sure to follow us on Facebook or at mountpleasantch.org. Tune in. You can go to our website and scroll down to the bottom to watch us live, or you can view us on YouTube. Go to YouTube to our channel, leave your comments, share with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and ding the bell. Thank you so much for tuning in to Kingdom Connections, where we are connecting you with as kingdom citizens, giving you information and inspiration. Today was all about financial revelations. I thank you so much. Join us. If you're looking to grow your relationship with God, we invite you to join us at the Mount. This Sunday, we'll be having service live stream on Facebook at 10 a.m. We want you to be blessed. But when you tune in, be sure you come expecting a blessing. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day. Till next time. So thank you so much for viewing, for tuning in. Woo! Thank you so much. Yes. Woo! Thank you.